evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Tuesday, November 29, 2022. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Works progressing on Linden-to-MABURA all-weather road. Largest dredger arrives in Guyana for Vreed-en-Hoop shore-based project. In-river works underway at Berbice Deepwater Port. MINGO'S deputy recalls receiving death threats during Region 4 tabulation. Authorities pushing for AIRLINE with non-stop flights between Canada-Guyana, and over 200 persons succumbed to COVID for 2022 thus far. Now for the news in detail. The upgraded road network between Linden and Mabura in Region 10, which connects to Letem in Region 9, is beginning to take shape. The Evening News' Andrew Carmichael recently traversed the trail and had a first-hand view of the works that are underway. Here is our lead story tonight.
The Linden-Letem Road is being upgraded to an all-weather road, with a contractor being required to produce an asphaltic surface capable of withstanding the heavily laden lorries which currently use the thoroughfare. $3.19 billion has been allocated to the 32 bridges between Curupakakari and Letem, and $190 million for the Linden-to-MABURA road project. The first phase of the project will see a two-lane highway being constructed from sand and dirt to an asphaltic concrete surface. The road will be approximately 121 kilometers long and 7.2 meters wide. The project is expected to last for 3 years. With tangible work taking place, residents have started focusing on new possibilities for business opportunities. Only Saturday, Tourism, Industry and Commerce Minister Onij Walron, while declaring open Rupununi Expo, explained that government is seeking funds to upgrade the Mabura-Letem section.
We have secured over $100 million for the segment from Linden to Mabura Hill, which is currently under construction. And we are currently actively seeking funding for the Mabura to Letem segment. When completed, the road will be a transformational catalyst for industry and commerce between Region 9 and the coast, and indeed the wider world. We have also committed to the paving of all roads in the township of Letem.
Traversing sections of the Linden to Letem road has been a nightmare for heavily laden lorries, with many of them toppling off of the roadway. The bridges are even worse. Some vehicle operators will have to line the boards before attempting to cross. Not all times they make it over safely. With massive works currently taking place on upgrading all the bridges between Curupakari River and Linden, with massive work currently taking place to upgrade all the bridges between Curupakari River and Letem to concrete bridges, residents say they are now seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
And it's improving. Where you'd sink 1 foot, you're only sinking 6 inches now or whatever. But even now, you don't sink at all because it's passable. The road basically is terrible. So the dream of the Georgetown to Letem road is finally here with us. And any bus driver can tell you that right now. And to go down the road and where the bridges which were once wood, you can see concrete bridges being erected there now, and it's a joy to watch the development of our country at this point in time.
While all of the constructions are not as massive as this one here, constructions of bridges will be taking place between Curupakari and Letem. From Region 9 for the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
The MV Galileo, owned and operated by the Jan D. Newell Group, NRG Holdings joint venture partner, has docked in Port Georgetown and has been deployed to the Vreed-en-Hoop shore-based project site. The vessel's arrival marks the beginning of the Sandkey reclamation phase of the project, during which the dredger will clear the existing area and begin the process of adding reclaimed material for the creation of an artificial island on which the construction of the new terminal will be situated. This project will, in the first phase, add more than 44 acres to Guyana's coastline. The first step of this project started in June with the dredging of the access channels in the Demerara River, including the deepening, widening of the existing nautical channel, berth pockets, and turning basin. The MV Galileo is one of the largest trailing suction hooper dredges in Guyanese waters. It has worked on projects such as the recent beach expansion in Brazil and other port projects. Vreed-en-Hoop Vreed-en-Hoop ShoreBase Inc. forms part of the Port of Vreed-en-Hoop. Phase 1 of the project is meant to be the special purpose vehicle to serve as subsea umbilicals, flow lines, and riser shore base for projects of the ESSO Exploration and Production Guyana Limited. VEHSI is currently the largest Guyanese private sector investment in the oil and gas sector and is expected to cost over US $300 million. The project is expected to become operational in 2023. Meanwhile, Canadian-owned company CGX Energy Incorporated has revealed that in-river works are underway at the Deepwater port in Berbice. Gerald Bryan tells us more.
CGX Energy Incorporated announced in a statement on Monday that in-river work has started at the Deepwater port it plans to build in Berbice. This work entails the construction of a 50 by 12 trestle as well as the dredging of the river. The dredge has in fact already arrived. Afterwards, CGX will begin construction on the cargo terminal section of the wharf in mid-2023. Additionally, the operations of oil and gas support services will get off the ground in late 2023. CGX also noted that the immediate focus of the port has shifted to service the expected demand for aggregates and building materials. This demand is being driven by the government's infrastructure development in Berbice. According to CGX, it has been in close contact with the government and these necessary commodities must be imported into the region. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Gerald Bryan joins us again to report that Day 7 of the Commission of Inquiry into the 2020 general and regional elections has seen testimony from the Deputy Returning Officer for Region 4, who recalled receiving death threats during the tabulation process at Ashman's building. Here's more.
On Tuesday, Paul Jaising, who served as one of GCOM's Deputy Returning Officers for Region 4, took the stand before the Elections Commission of Inquiry. Jaising recalled that on March 5, 2020, he had been inputting data from spreadsheets and was present when controversy surrounding the laptop and flash drive occurred. As the DRO, Jaising's immediate superior during the elections would have been embattled former Returning Officer Claremont Mingo. Jaising recalled that the verification process for Region 4 had stopped after objections were raised over the spreadsheet being used. He explained that it was when he went outside the tabulation room that he received death threats from an unidentified woman.
Did you go outside and wait?
Yes, I was outside the tabulation room.
And while you were there, did anything happen?
A female came and sat next to me and she issued some death threats.
What did she say?
You go there tonight.
Had you known her before?
No.
Can you recall how she was dressed?
I know she had on a white t-shirt.
Were GCOM employees in white t-shirts that night?
Yes.
Asked if he was afraid, Jaising replied in the negative. He also noted that he would be unable to identify the woman.
After she made these death threats to you, did she leave?
Yes, she left.
And shortly afterwards, did you call a car and leave?
Yes, I left shortly.
This person in the white t-shirt said to you, you go dead tonight.
Yeah.
Were you alarmed?
I was shocked, but I wasn't intimidated.
You were not intimidated?
No.
The COI is expected to conclude by January of next year. Already, a number of witnesses have been called, but the commissioners are looking to expand the witness pool. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Authorities are pushing for another airline to begin non-stop flights between Guyana and Canada as the relationship, commercial and otherwise, between the two countries expands. Here are the details.
Canadian diplomat Mark Berman announced on Monday evening that the High Commission in Georgetown is pushing for a Canadian airline to offer non-stop services between the two countries. Speaking during a reception in honor of the visit of Energy NL Trade Mission to Guyana, he said, and I quote, "The High Commission in Georgetown continues to work on bringing a Canadian air carrier service to offer non-stop flights from Canada to Guyana, facilitating Guyanese stakeholders at Canadian fora that showcase Canadian companies and expertise." End quote. The Evening News understands that Air Canada is one of the airlines being considered. A few months ago, Public Works Minister Juan Edgell had revealed that Guyana is engaging a number of airlines to provide direct flights from Guyana to Canada. In fact, in February, President Dr. Irfan Ali, Tourism Minister Onij Walrund, and Edgell had engaged representatives from Air Canada, the largest airline of Canada by fleet size and passengers. Meanwhile, according to the High Commissioner, the commercial relationship between the two countries is expanding. Berman said, and I quote, "Our commercial relationship with Guyana is growing and will continue to grow because we are natural partners, similarly blessed with an abundance of natural resources, sharing many values and enjoying strong people-to-people ties stemming from our sizable Guyanese diaspora in Canada and many Canadians living in Guyana." End quote. The diplomat subsequently told reporters that Guyana and Canada are discussing the possibility of visa-free travel between the two countries.
His Excellency Keith Linden-George has presented his letters of credence to Her Excellency the Right Honorable Mary J. May Simon, Governor-General and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Canada, during a ceremony at her residence at the Citadel of Quebec. High Commissioner George has an extensive Foreign Service career spanning 29 years, among which is his recent 10-year tenure as the Ambassador of Guyana to Suriname. High Commissioner George is also the recipient of Guyana's third highest national award, the Cassie Crown of Honor. At conclusion of the formal ceremony, High Commissioner George met with the Canadian Governor-General, during which the cordial relations between Guyana and Canada and shared values of democracy were noted. High Commissioner George and the Governor-General also discussed issues relating to combating climate change and building climate change resilience, Indigenous peoples' welfare, food security, and the importance of agriculture and general economic and social matters of mutual bilateral interests. Coming up, Christmas family bonding initiative at persons to begin on December 5 and Rose Hall Estate seeking to employ 1,000 persons. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Optic offers great patient care that is tailored for my entire family.
At Optic, a wide selection of affordable optical frames and optical services are available to fit your budget.
At Optic, my family is provided with comprehensive eye examination and access to their ophthalmology services, all under one roof.
Optic takes pride in delivering exceptional customer service and a unique experience to you, our customers.
Optic Vision Care is a company that is Guyanese born and grown that will help you take care of your precious eyes.
Did you know that the government has funded the 2022 budget through oil revenues? Yes. Money earned from oil production offshore is being used to support projects in Guyana, including social programs like the increase of public assistance and old age pension, as well as cash grants to support the vulnerable members of society.
Play our virtual Chick Chick game today and get a chance to win big. With over 450 draws, 3 dices, and 52 bet types to choose from. You can also be a winner with SuperBet. Visit www.superbet.gy or any one of our agents closest to you. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 18 years and over.
It's November already and soon it will be Christmas. So we at John Lewis Styles are giving away one Amazon Echo Show every week in November and every day in December. Stream music and videos, make video calls and control smart devices, alarms, reminders and lots more. Every $5,000 spent gives you a chance to win when you shop for clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage and accessories. So visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. The Guyana Prison Services Christmas Family Bonding Visits initiative will commence on December 5 at all prison locations countrywide. This initiative allows family members to have meals with their incarcerated loved ones while spending extra time with them. The initiative will end on December 11. Interested family members can contact the officers in charge of the various locations for further information. Investigations are ongoing into the circumstances surrounding a fire that ravaged the storage bond located at Le Resouvenir, East Coast, Demerara. The structure was owned by C. Mohammed & Sons hardware store and was reportedly uninsured. Due to the magnitude of the fire, 2 firefighters suffered smoke inhalation and were transported to the hospital. There were no other injuries. Investigations revealed that welding was being done in close proximity to a foam mattress, and flying embers came into contact with the mattress and it ignited. The fire service has lamented that there were no fire suppressants within the building. Millions of dollars in losses are estimated as the business owners had recently stocked the bond with new products. Firefighters from the Central, West Rheinveld, Albertown, Campbellville, and Melanie fire stations responded and managed to get the fire under control by containing it to one building using various water sources and foam. We now tell you that the Rose Hall estate of the Guyana Sugar Corporation is seeking to employ in excess of 1,000 persons. Our Berbice correspondent, Andrew Carmichael, tells us that the corporation's chief executive officer joined the newly appointed estate manager for a recruitment drive today.
Rose Hall Estate Manager Rama Singh says the workers are needed for planting, fertilizing, spraying, and also harvesting. She explained that a recruitment drive hosted on Tuesday was for planters, and by 11 hours, 40 persons had already shown an interest. The estate needs 83 planters but only has 56. Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Guy Suko, says Ryan Singh told the Evening News that Rose Hall is in the final lap of its reopening strategy. The focus now, he says, is to ensure that the land is aggressively planted for the new crop starting on Valentine's Day.
So we're pushing hard to get more planters on the land to join with the estate in getting the cane planted. Rose Hall is extremely important to the corporate strategy of the organization. As you know, it's a commitment of the shareholders, the government of Guyana, to reopen this estate in 2023.
According to the CEO, 66% of the factory has already been refurbished. The aim is to reach 100% by August 2023, which will be in time for the reopening of the estate as the second crop for 2023 commences. He says all steps are being taken to implement the work program.
We call it a Gantt chart, project management document. There needs to be some tightening around making sure that every element, every level of the organization is following the work program. So some amount of training will be enhanced to make sure that at all levels the staff understand their responsibilities. What will also be enhanced is more monitoring and evaluation of the work progress by central head office. And that is why I am here. The field operation director is here, the factory operations director is here, and of course the head of human resources is here to implement that employment drive.
Singh said the employment drive will be repeated in January and continued on a monthly basis. The estate is also encouraging persons to form groups to work as contractors. According to the estate manager, there is a huge demand for harvesters. In excess of 700 will be needed next year. The CEO says Guy Suko has been intensifying its efforts to ensure that come 2023, Rose Hall will be in a state of readiness with a full capacity of the needed labor available.
This is a very comprehensive exercise. The HR team at Rose Hall went to every village from Gangaram all the way around to the East Bank Berbice, visiting with loud hailers, talking to the village leaders, the imams, the pandits, the pastors, to engage them so that the word could get around. It was on, the messaging was on Berbice TV, that Rose Hall is reopened for business.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Early childhood education is on the trajectory to be transformed with the commissioning of the Early Childhood Center of Excellence at the University of Guyana Turkine campus. Rupa Sinarain reports.
The Early Childhood Center of Excellence is funded by the government and the Caribbean Development Bank through the Basic Needs Trust Fund. It creates a conducive environment for young learners to explore, grow, and develop. Education Minister Priya Manikchand in her remarks noted that Guyana has the highest nursery enrollment rate in the Commonwealth, and as such the investment is fitting since Guyana and the Caribbean can learn from practices which will be implemented. Moreover, she urged people not to view the Early Childhood Center of Excellence as just another nursery school.
What we do need is to find out how we could make what we have been doing well, how we could make that excellent. What are the gaps? Why it is we have 85% of this cohort in a classroom, but we're unable to produce 85% of readers at the exit level of primary, or retain at the exit level of secondary 85% of the people who entered secondary school. There is a big debate about which is the most important, fundamentally important level. And as a parent and as someone who has observed the system, both as a parent and as a policy maker, I would say without hesitation it is these early years.
Meanwhile, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Guyana, Professor Paloma Mohammed, said the project was long in the making.
This is going to be a wonderful place for our teachers to practice in ideal conditions. But one of the things that has been worrying me very much, and I've spoken about this internally, and I'm going to say it publicly now, not to put anybody on the spot, but because we need to start thinking about it. And that is, when you have a school like this that is pretty much in an ideal setting, working in an ideal way, with an ideal curriculum, which they have everything that the whole university community can bring to them. In a second, a counselor is there, a doctor is there, right here. When these children graduate at 7 and 8, and they have to go into maybe some primary schools, what is going to happen? I think we're going to see some shell shock and we'll have some problems there. So I would like us to think about the second phase of this project.
The $161 million facility is equipped with all the amenities needed by learners and early childhood practitioners and caregivers. The building was also designed to accommodate differently abled learners.
Statistics have revealed that some 229 fatalities resulting from the novel coronavirus have been reported for the year 2022. Here is Rupa Sinarain again with the details.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic was reported in Guyana during March 2020, a total of 1,284 persons lost their lives after contracting the deadly virus. From 164 deaths in 2020, this number rose to 891 for the year 2021. This spike was linked to the Delta wave. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony on Tuesday gave a breakdown of the deaths that were recorded for 2022.
For 2022, so far we have recorded 229 deaths. And if we look by months, we will see that most of the deaths that we've had so far occurred in January, where we had 116 deaths. In February, that dropped to 48 deaths, and in March, we were down to 7, April 2, then in May it went up slightly to 9, June we were at 18, and then in July it came down slightly to 16. By August, we were down to 7, September 3, and then in October we had 0 deaths. Unfortunately, we've started seeing an upward trend, so in November we've had 3 deaths so far.
It was noted that government is still working to procure Paxlovid vaccines for COVID treatment through UNICEF. When these vaccines become available, Guyana will receive them at a discounted rate.
We have been working with UNICEF. They have a global agreement with Pfizer, and through that agreement we were hoping to get Paxlovid at a very discounted rate. So far, I don't think UNICEF has been able to source any of the Paxlovid as yet, but we remain optimistic. So once they are able to initiate that process, Guyana would certainly benefit.
From 206 tests, 19 new cases surfaced within 1 day. This was reflected in Tuesday's figure. Active cases stand at 100, a reduction due to recoveries. 9 patients are housed at the Infectious Diseases Hospital, with 3 persons in the intensive care unit. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
There will be no closure of the Demerara Harbour Bridge on Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Wednesday, November 30th at 23 hours for a period of 1.5 hours.
Australia, West Indies to lock horns tonight, and Monroe hails performance of table tennis players at IGG Games. Details of these stories in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
American-made Generac pressure washers from Sylvie's Variety Store give you the power you need to blast away dirt and grime, providing the perfect cleaning power for any tough jobs around the house or business, from 2,500 to 4,000 psi. So get the Generac pressure washer today with all the parts and accessories available from Sylvie's Variety Store.